3 weeks of playoffs begin here. All 15 games are live on Sky Sports. We start in the Coca-Cola Championship with 4 teams chasing a place in the sun. What a venue to start the playoffs. Blackpool was built for entertainment, but the towering ambition and all the excitement today will be on the pitch at Bloomfield Road as the Tangerine dream comes so close to fruition. The scale of Blackpool's achievement is apparent. They're rebuilding Bloomfield Road, but only Scunthorpe had a smaller attendance this season. The start of the playoffs, Blackpool against Nottingham Forest, semi-final first leg of the Coca-Cola Championships, live on Sky Sports HD1 and also Sky Sports 1. The road begins for 1 club out of 4 to reach the Premier League. Blackpool unchanged for the 4th game in a row. They've already had their best season for 33 years. DJ Campbell, on loan from playoff rivals Leicester City, has been declared fit after injuring an elbow last week. Charlie Adam, though, is the catalyst, top scorer with 17 goals. He's also accumulated 14 yellow cards. Nottingham Forest made 8 changes last week as they'd already qualified for the playoffs. The big hitters are all back today, including the headline news. Skipper Paul McKenna returns for his first start since March after damaging his knee. And Chris Cohen has recovered from illness to take his place in the starting lineup. Welcome to the magical mystery tour known as the playoffs. Bloomfield Road hosts the first game. It's Blackpool against Nottingham Forest. With us today, our own Peter Beagrie, and also a manager who's been manager of the year twice and also taken 3 teams into the Premier League, including Crystal Palace, by way of the playoffs. Steve Coppell, of course, joins us today. Good to see you, Steve. Good to see you both.
Thank you.
Is it a major surprise, Steve, that Blackpool are in the playoffs?
No, I think it's just a culmination of a lot of hard work by a very good manager, a club who are trying to be forward-thinking. They played a lovely brand of football this season, being consistent, and those are the qualities that get you into the high positions in the league, and it's great to see them right in this playoff situation.
Ian has talked about being relaxed, hasn't he? Last week nervous, this week now relaxed, because we've achieved something already. Is that the secret? You've done it. You have to be relaxed.
No, not necessarily. I think the secret is to try and get your players in the right frame of mind to give of their best on the day. And it's all about timing. Everything in the playoffs is about timing. You've got 3 occasions where your players have got to be right and they have to deliver. So whichever way you do it, you've got to create an environment which the players really want to express themselves. They're not stupid. You don't have to tell them how important the game is. But you've got to get them in that sort of zone where they give it their best, they know what they're doing, they're all primed and ready to go. And I think, you know, you look at both managers, they're both fairly adept at doing that.
Blackpool, big underdogs, in the sort of perverse logic of the playoffs. Does that make them favourites?
Yeah, I think so. I think they will be a little bit more freer in their expression. I think the pressure is more on Forest, finishing higher up in the table. They're expected to win. You look at the odds, they're expected to win. And being away from home, I think, makes it more difficult for them in the first leg because you come there feeling as if you've got to protect something. And again, that's not really a great environment when you want your team to go forward and really push.
Peter, you've seen them both often this season. Have Forest played some of the best football in the Championship this season for you?
At times, yeah. You know, one game in particular springs to mind, and we know how poor the away form's been, but it was against West Bromwich Albion, where they went there and absolutely tore them apart. You know, pace, athleticism, and, you know, one of them ingredients as well that's been missing latterly as they've limped over the line, really, was the loss of Paul McKenna, who's been inspirational. And along with that ability, you need some knowledge, know-how and experience, and he could be a vital part of Forest doing well. But, you know, the infrastructure of both clubs couldn't be more contrasted, really, and that's why I think all the pressure is on Forest.
Average age 24, even with Paul McKenna. It's a very young Forest team, isn't it?
It is young, vibrant, and for a vast majority of the season they were absolutely flying. Anticipate them getting that automatic second spot, but the wheels come off a bit, and again it was the away form that really was a cause for concern, and still has been towards the latter stages of the season.
Forest did finish third in the Coca-Cola Championship. They can feel a bit aggrieved about not going up directly, but that's the playoffs for you. 9 points ahead of Blackpool, they finished, although Blackpool were the top scorers out of the 4 teams in the playoff positions. This the schedule: Blackpool against Nottingham Forest today, Leicester against Cardiff tomorrow. The return games, semi-final second legs, on Tuesday and Wednesday this coming week. All on Sky Sports. Blackpool stand out as the underdogs, really, even now, just over 3-1. But they started the season as 20-1 outsiders to get promotion. So a great job done by their manager, Ian Holloway. He's now with Greg Whelan.
Ian, in your programme notes today, you described last weekend's situation as surreal. There was a lot of nervousness about the place. Has reality now kicked in for everyone here?
It's been fantastic. You know, we all feel we've actually achieved something for these wonderful supporters, so we've really enjoyed that, and now it's all about being professional. Obviously we've got 2 tough games, that's all we can guarantee, and we're going to try and do our utmost in those to do as well as we can.
You come into these playoffs as underdogs. To what extent do you and your players thrive on that situation?
Yeah, well, people can say what they like, you know, and I've been very careful at what I've said this week. Is you have to have some belief in what you're doing, you have to have some belief in your team that have been doing it, and I've got plenty of that, but I obviously fully respect Notts Forest. But, you know, in these games, 6 can beat 3rd, 6 can be promoted, so we've got to believe that, and we've got to try and do as best we can. But we do know that no one expected it. People wrote us off at the start of the year, and they can write us off again. We don't really care about what other people think.
Ian, thanks for your time.
Thank you.
When he took Leicester down, it was his lowest moment in football, wasn't it? Now he's, you know, the other end of the tree and enjoying his football again. People, you know, think of Ollie as kind of eccentric, but he's a real football man, isn't he, underneath all that?
He's a shrewd man, and even that interview there was wonderfully understated. You know, again, that's the art of deflecting the pressure from his team. His team in that dressing room now are raring to go, but they know they've got a purpose, and he can be as humble as he likes and grateful to be here, but now in that dressing room, he is stressing the importance of each individual's role in the team to bring out the best in the whole team performance.
Peter, you mentioned Paul McKenna for Nottingham Forest, how important he is. Yeah. How much of a gamble is it bringing him back to start?
Well, I don't think it's a gamble, because he is an experienced player. He knows his body better than anybody else, and he's such a pivotal part of that young, vibrant Forest size, and we look at the stats there that bear out the fact that without him they're a different proposition altogether. You know, he is such a pivotal member, and probably the signing of the season, I would have thought. 750,000, you know, he's been through the playoffs before, you know, he's been involved at Preston, and very, very important. And what you see in an understated fashion is him prompting and pushing players in the right areas, particularly out of possession of the ball, when you've got so many young athletic players who want to go and join in and get forward. He's the one who sits and cajoles and pushes people in the right areas, and he's so important to the way Forest play.
Big decision by Billy Davies to pick him. He's now with Greg Whelan.
Billy, your skipper, Paul McKenna, starts for the first time in 2 months. How important can he be at this stage?
Well, he's been a huge loss, so there's no doubt that when McKenna's in the side, then we know what he can bring the team, and we know what he can do with his experience and his quality, and also, of course, his captaincy. But we're delighted to have him back. He's been working very hard over the last number of weeks. Could have played him last Saturday against Scunthorpe, decided against it, and we're delighted to have the captain back.
Billy, this is your 4th playoff campaign. As a manager, how much do you relish the challenge that they present you?
Well, they're great events, aren't they? I still think that third should go up, and irrespective of whether it's Forest or no, I'd still think that should be the case. But they're great events. They're very exciting times for the fans and the players, and they are what they are. They're a lottery. You've got to turn up on the day. You've got to get the breaks, and there's no such a thing as a favourite. When you play in the playoffs, you've got to earn the right, and that's exactly what we'll try and do.
Now, Blackpool have beaten you twice in the regular league campaign. How big an obstacle are they for you now?
Well, they make it difficult at Blackpool. We know the situation here, and they've done very well this season, but we know what we are. We know who we've got, and we know the situation. And what we've got to do is make sure that our players are firing on all cylinders, and make sure that we know exactly what type of game to play, and also what type of game to expect.
Thanks very much, Billy.
Thank you.
Well, we're almost underway for the greatest show on earth in club football. Certainly the most lucrative three-game competition in the history of football. Let's join our commentators for all the team news. It's Don Goodman and Ian Dark.
And a rare old atmosphere here. Unchanged Blackpool bidding to complete a 9-year run through all 4 divisions. But their captain and top scorer Charlie Adam will miss the rest of this campaign if he picks up a 15th yellow card of the season today. Brett Ormrod, Keith Southern and Ian Evatt have all been promoted with Blackpool before. DJ Campbell passed fit after an elbow injury last week. The big news for Forest is the return of their captain Paul McKenna, as you've been hearing. He's missed the last 11 games with a knee injury. Chris Cohen's had mumps this week, but he's recovered in time to play. Guy Moussy's out with a groin injury. 5 of this team were rested last week, and Forest completed a £1 million deal this week to make Radi Majewski's move permanent. Exactly the same Blackpool subs as last week. Joe Garner, the youngster who's got a couple of goals recently, included on the Forest bench. Everybody ready to go. There is Charlie Adam leading out Blackpool. What a story it would be if they were to make it to the Premier League on average crowds of only just over 8,000. But Nottingham Forest are favourites. For a long time this season, it looked as if they might go up automatically. Now they have to do it the hard way through the playoffs. Massive game here at Bloomfield Road, the biggest they've had here for years, and it's coming up live in just a moment.
The best team win. Ian Holloway and Billy Davis shake hands and prepare to lock horns. The playoffs live on Sky Sports in the Coca-Cola Championship. Blackpool against Nottingham Forest. First leg, commentators Don Goodman and Ian Dark.
Yeah, thanks a lot, George. There's Brett Ormrod, who was in on the start of the Blackpool rise through the divisions. 9 years ago, he scored 5 goals in the playoffs as they climbed out of the basement. 4 in the semis, 1 in the final. And, of course, he got the vital goal last week that made sure they made the playoffs this time around. It's quite an atmosphere. It's been quite a week. Full of expectations, both these clubs here. These next few days mean absolutely everything. The whole season crystallised into this. Great atmosphere, Don, isn't it?
It's absolutely first class, and you can feel a difference between today's atmosphere and last week's, where Blackpool players, supporters, everybody felt the pressure of the occasion. But you get the feeling they're here to enjoy it this afternoon.
Away we go, and the whispers are that both sides are really going to go for it here, and we could have quite a match. Blackpool have been full of goals at home this season. Front foot straight away. Away by Perch here for Nottingham Forest, who had that really wonderful unbeaten run in the middle of the season that had them on the brink of challenging for an automatic places. In the end, they couldn't keep pace with Newcastle and West Bromwich Albion.
I think the interesting thing about that was it was their away form, wasn't it, that really let them down as the season wore on. They haven't won away from home since January, since that magnificent performance against West Bromwich Albion, so they'll be a little bit aware of that. So getting the balance right, isn't it, between going for it and just making sure that you're still in this tie come Tuesday night.
Launch forward towards Wes Morgan, who's come up from the back for Nottingham Forest. Is Vaughan getting it away for Blackpool? Bound to be a few feisty challenges, you'd expect that, wouldn't you? But Charlie Adam in particular has to watch his step. 1 yellow card, that's it. He's out of the playoffs. Although, strangely, if he picks up a second yellow, which becomes a red, he'll only get a 1-game ban and could be back for the final. Work that one out.
I don't think any right-minded person could they, really? Well, he didn't hold back last week, that's for sure, Charlie Adam. He launched himself into a couple of challenges, and he's just purely focused on the job in hand. And that, of course, today is to give Blackpool the advantage after this first leg.
He is Blackpool's top scorer. Ormerod trying to make headway down that side. Although Nottingham Forest have only won 4 games away from home this season in the Championship, they've drawn an awful lot, and they are pretty tough to beat.
He's got them very well organised, hasn't he, Billy Davis? Very tough nut to crack. Defensively very, very strong. Very, very well organised, disciplined. But Blackpool are a team. Been in the goals recently. They'll fancy their chances of scoring. I think it's 9 games on the trot that they've scored, Blackpool.
It's Tyson. Nottingham Forest, of course, in a change trip today. Normal Redwood clash horribly with Blackpool's wonderfully distinctive Tangerine strip they were wearing way back in that Stanley Matthews Stan Mortensen final in 1953. Crossed in towards Dexter Blackstock. Perch away by Seamus Coleman, the young right back who's on loan from Everton. He's missed out there. Here's Anderson. Overhit his cross. I'll tell you something as well, Don. This wind whipping off the North Sea today, making it feel like November here, that might be a factor as well. Yeah,
you just took the words right out of my mouth. I think one of the Blackpool defenders, I think it was Seamus Coleman, misjudged the flight of that last ball. Blackpool kicking against the wind in this first half. Could be a factor.
Charged down by McKenna. It might drop here for Blackstock. Held up on the wing. Difficult moments for Blackpool, who, remember, fell behind early last week against Bristol City in that vital final game before getting the point that was enough in the end. And that's whistled over by Nathan Tyson.
That's a really good strike, isn't it? He wriggles his way free between a couple of Blackpool defenders. Get a fortunate ricochet, but decent strike. Lots of power. Just can't keep it down.
He's only scored once in his last 31 games, Nathan Tyson, but he's in there for his pace out wide today.
That's the big thing about Forest, you know. It's been a lack of goals away from home that has caused them problems. It's not like they haven't actually carved out chances. They've had their opportunities, just haven't been able to take enough of them when they've come their way. I was going to say, there's only Dexter Blackstock, isn't there, in the starting lineup in double figures, relative goal-scoring form.
Yeah, Rob Earnshaw, the top scorers on the bench. Now then, Charlie Adam to chip this one forward on the wing. Headed into the middle there and not handled too well there by Lee Camp, but he did enough in the end.
One or two questions asked there of Forest defending from that set piece.
Now Phil Dowd, Premier League referee, has been given the appointment here, and he wants a word straight away here with Ian Evatt.
Tyson just kicks the ball away and lunges in, doesn't he, Ian Evatt? And he's just taken a yellow card for that challenge. It is a yellow card offence. That puts him on a bit of a tightrope, doesn't it? A long way to go.
With just the 85 minutes to survive. Evatt was in the Blackpool side at Wembley, who were promoted from League One when they beat Yeovil 3 years ago, when Simon Grayson was the manager here. Keith Southern was in that side as well. And there's Billy Davis, who of course took Derby County up via the playoffs, got Preston into the playoffs a couple of times, once into a final as well. Knows his way around this end of season lottery. Is it a lottery, Don?
I do believe it is, Ian. Yeah. I don't think there's any other word that you can use to describe it, to be honest with you. Although it does help. Years have shown it does help to be going into the playoffs in reasonably decent form. And I think we've got 4 teams, haven't we? Always Blackpool included, in reasonably decent form.
Blackpool have taken 19 points out of the last 24 available, just to underline your point.
Their only defeat was away at Newcastle, wasn't it? St James's Park. They really have got their timing absolutely spot on, and it was from a free kick in this area. Brett Ormerod managed to get on the end of Charlie Adam free kick last weekend.
Oh, a lot of height there, really, apart from Evatt. Adam with the set piece, a good delivery towards Ormerod. Couldn't quite get a clean header on it, and it's gone behind for a corner. It came off the defender perch last.
Well, the thing is, there's not a lot of height in there, but you don't need height when you get quality delivery in that. And they're claiming whether or not this should have been a penalty. It just hit the back of Jane Perch's hand, but there's no intent there.
I mean, you couldn't possibly have called that intentional handball,
no,
could you?
absolutely not.
Craney to launch it forward this time for Blackpool, who are looking to whip up a bit of a storm here. The noise level is quite incredible.
Well, twice now, you know, big Ian Evatt, the centre-half, has found himself being marked by, I think that was Smiejewski trying to mark him there from that diagonal ball, which is absolute madness. And twice he's knocked it down into a dangerous area.
This time it's a lower, flatter one. Evatt got something on it, and then DJ Campbell unable to keep his shot down.
Like I say, they may not be the biggest in the world, but they've got Evatt. He flicks it on there, and very, very awkward as that fall. But this was the claim for handball. Ormerod does well. He gets up, and that just hits Perch on the arm. Referees can't give that. No intent whatsoever. But you have to say, could have been a pretty decisive deflection. That.
Yeah, I was just thinking that the header was goal bound, and it unknowingly it did hit his arm, which was raised.
Well, one of the other things as well, they say that you need to win playoffs is a little bit of luck.
Not much doubt about that, I think. Big test of nerve and bottle for the players, of course. Maybe just a question of which players can conquer that to show the necessary quality to win a couple of football matches on aggregate anyway. Chip forward again towards Vaughan. It's a difficult one for him to control, coming over his shoulder.
Well, they do make good runs from midfield, don't they? David Vaughan the furthest forward there. Charlie Adams spends a lot of time getting forward. Part of the way Ian Holloway has got this Blackpool unit working, isn't it?
Yeah, he's done a fabulous job here, really, in his own very individualistic way, which included doing a team talk with model teddy bears one day on Boxing Day. Charlie Adam was revealing. Said it gave the players a laugh, but they went out and won 2-0 afterwards.
That's what it's all about, isn't it? The results. He will do whatever it takes, Ian Holloway. And you're right, he's done a magnificent job here.
The wind is difficult. His Baptiste has been in fine form for Blackpool. Would be quite a comeback for him if Blackpool got to the Premier League, because he was playing in the conference with Mansfield not too long ago. Forest have a player down here.
It's a really, really awkward tumble, isn't it? Nathan Tyson just goes over the back, and he just gets his arm down that lands really heavily. He's riding over the back there of Charlie Adam. A really awkward fall, and hopefully he'll be all right in a second.
That would not have been a happy landing for Nathan Tyson either. Could have easily done himself some mischief there. A bit of concern, as you'd understand, from Billy Davis.
He wouldn't want to have to change his plans at this early stage of proceedings, would he, Billy Davis? Spoke about the pace of Tyson. Already seen it.
Now, Rob Earnshaw is on the bench, of course, but they want to keep this shape, don't they? This 4-3-3 shape. And Tyson's quite vital to that, because Earnshaw's an out-and-out striker you'd use in a 4-4-2, isn't he, Don?
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely spot on. I can't imagine Robert Earnshaw playing out there wide on the right, can you?
They could bring on George Boyd on the left and put Anderson on the other side, I guess, but I mean, they'll be hoping Tyson's all right.
They've set themselves up, haven't they? They've got the power and presence of Dexter Blackstock, they've got the pace of Tyson down one side, and they've got the trickery of Anderson down the other side, and really those three are firing. They are a handful for any defence at this level.
Evatt hits it long and a bit aimlessly, in truth. I say the pitch is looking a bit better this week. The grass, it almost looked like the savannah here last week against Bristol City, didn't it? Very long.
Quality! It is pure quality, and you know what? We're right behind it here from our vantage point. And the really, really clever thing about this is that he knows that he's downwind, Chris Cohen, so he doesn't try and really smash it. He guides it with the outside of that left boot. It's absolute perfection. It's about the only place in the goal that he could have hit where Gilks wouldn't have got a hand on it. Absolutely magnificent strike, technically perfect, and a wonderful goal.
And this from a player who nearly didn't play today because he's been suffering from mumps. What a hit that was from Cohen.
Very clever strike, you know. He did not try and smash it hard. He knew that he was downwind. The wind, didn't it, to guide it. Wind helped get the power on the strike. Absolute perfection.
Wonderful start for Nottingham Forest, and here's Anderson trying to run Seamus Cohen and getting the better of him too. Still Anderson, looks good. Blackstock is here, and the goalkeeper jumped, but the flag was up. Wouldn't have counted.
Well, I think Dexter Blackstock makes a mistake here. Watch where he comes from, Dexter Blackstock. Anderson has got a one-on-one with Baptiste, but Blackstock goes into the space, traps other defenders. You can see he's offside. And it's a bad decision by Blackstock. If he'd have held his position in the centre, Anderson would have had a 1v1.
Well, look at this ball for DJ Campbell. Cuts inside, still Campbell. Can he get the shot away here? Southern is there as well. Wouldn't just drop for a Blackpool player, Adam too, and Forest scramble it away.
Got to get a strike away there, got to get a shot off.
Now here's McKenna, back after his long injury, playing for the first time in 2 months. Billy Davies said, don't worry, he's fit all right. Got plenty of work into him on the training ground. Shooting a few practice matches. I think he's been fit really for about 10 days or so. They've been just waiting for this.
Yeah. He's a really important player, isn't he, Paul McKenna, for Nottingham Forest. It's got a really open feel to it, hasn't it, this game? End to end almost, probably too open for Blackpool's liking.
And Tyson again trying his luck. It's almost the story of gone with the wind so far for Blackpool.
Well, sometimes, you know, players prefer playing against the wind, but certainly Forest using the wind to get strikes away, and this is as good as it gets. Outside of the left boot. I'm not sure he'll hit a better one than that in the rest of his career. Absolutely magnificent.
It's only his 4th goal of the season, that, Chris Cohen. What a time to get it. And this was a player, of course, who 3 years ago helped knock Nottingham Forest out on that traumatic night when they conceded 5 at home in the second leg, wasn't it, against Yeovil. Yeah. Him and Aaron Davis then made the move on. Now there's Taylor Fletcher on the turn for Blackpool. It's a helter-skelter kind of game here already.
15 minutes in and the shots are raining in, aren't they, from all over the place. This time Taylor Fletcher on the turn. It would have been more spectacular than the goal we've seen from Cohen. He must be thrilled with the way that his team are doing. They look solid at the back, don't they? They look a real threat on the counter-attack.
Cohen, by the way, was one of 5 players who were playing today who were left out at Scunthorpe last week. They had that luxury, Forest, freshening everybody up, ready for the playoff campaign. And you were saying that might not have worked, of course.
Well, it's all about, it's a gamble, isn't it? You know, it's not like a switch that you can flick on and off, but Billy Davies is meticulous. One of the most meticulous managers you'll ever find. Preparation, absolutely vital, and he felt It was important to keep his players fresh. They've known for a long time that they were going to be in the playoffs. And so far, you'd have to say, he's got it right.
Cohen curled into a really gorgeous area. Morgan only needed to get a touch on that, and it was 2-0.
Well, we were waxing lyrical about Charlie Adams' delivery last week. That's equally as good. It's brilliant, isn't it? And he's so close, isn't he? Wes Morgan comes right round the back, and it's almost the bounce that takes it away from his leg. Any kind of contact may have seen Forest 2 up.
Launched long towards Gary Taylor-Fletcher. Morgan says, come and get it, to Lee Camp, who arrives in time. Kept 6 clean sheets in a row this season for Nottingham Forest. That was a record. Not even Peter Shilton did that.
I think a quality goalkeeper, isn't he? But certainly aided by a fantastic defensive unit that Billy Davies has assembled.
Anderson, hint of a handball. Cohen inside. Chris Cohen again, from the sublime to the ridiculous.
Well, it's one of those moments that if he gets through, if Forest prevail, he'll be able to look back and laugh at.
Always been a highly regarded player, isn't he, Chris Cohen? He didn't make it at West Ham United. He was on their books, not in a serious way anyway, but he's been a key man for Forest this season.
They've just lost a little bit of momentum, haven't they, Blackpool? Haven't really been able to get their key players in the game. One of them right there in your picture, Charlie Adam, furthest man forward.
Still early days though, really, isn't it, in a two-legged tie, this?
It is. We saw, didn't we, last week? They went behind against Bristol City within the first 15 minutes or so. And they responded terrifically. They were the dominant force in that game, and they got their reward.
Cohen through to Anderson, who turned quite neatly. Vaughan will have to be nifty in getting that one away. Southern helps it on. Now here's Charlie Adam. Adam again from Blackpool, and a misdirected pass at a key moment. Just stunned by that goal, understandably so, Blackpool, but they're a side of enormous spirit. You wouldn't write them out of this at all, would you?
No, certainly not. I would say such a long way to go. Let's not forget it's 2 games, just about 20 minutes into the first leg of this tie. Awful lot of football to be played.
Blackpool just edging out unlucky Swansea at the depth in the season to finish 6th. Costly defeat away to Sheffield United, wasn't it, for Swansea, the penultimate weekend.
The big problem for Swansea was that they just didn't score goals. It was their undoing all season long. Had they had anybody that scored goals, they would have been definitely in the playoffs. It's another free kick, and I think Wes Morgan's very unlucky to be penalised for that. Clearly gets the ball.
Looked like it, didn't it? How vital might that be? Phil Dowd's given it.
Well, again, we've already had an example of quality delivery from this fella.
Baptista's forward from the back. Not quite such a good quality that time. Well played by Craney. Both him and Ormrod played for Billy Davies when he was the Preston manager in the playoffs. Now they're looking to scupper him. Here is Ormrod looking to flick it on. He didn't, because Wilson was there. Coleman. Here's Gary Taylor-Fletcher, has been converted into a central striker these days. Southern was looking to attack it. Wilson getting it away. There's 2 Nottingham lads at the back. Wilson and Morgan with a big job today.
Brett Ormrod was right behind Kelvin Wilson there, wasn't he? Waiting to get on the end of that. Not the biggest, but decent in the air, Brett Ormerod.
He comes across very well, grabbed by Lee Camp, who's had an impressive season. £150,000 from QPR, looks good money spent.
Super take, isn't it? Just what you want as a defender, a dominant goalkeeper that will come and put balls like that out of the air.
Away by Craney. Nottingham Forest still leading by that wonderful goal from Chris Cohen, looking to return to the big league for the first time in 11 years. Forest.
I think people were talking about how Blackpool are the only team that have done the double over Nottingham Forest this season, aren't they? Very, very different circumstances. Way back in mid-September at the City Ground. Forest haven't lost there since. And obviously, just about a month or so ago, a very different-looking Nottingham Forest team came here and lost. So
yeah, they lost 3-1, didn't they, Don? But they left out a few, didn't they, that day? They kind of knew they were in the playoffs already. Pretty much full strength today. Is Evatt. Showed quite a lot of the ball to Blackstock, but got away with it. So a misdirected ball from Adam, who's not quite pulling the strings yet in the way Blackpool would like. Has to have pain-killing injections, doesn't he, in an ankle problem before matches. I know how serious a problem that is. It's a goal kick.
At this stage of the season, you just get through any way you can, don't you? And that's what Charlie Adam's doing. They were claiming a corner, weren't they? Hard to see the contact there. It would have been minimal. He may have brushed his head. I can understand why the referee didn't spot that.
Southern goes to ground. There will be a free kick here for Blackpool.
Good burst from midfield, wasn't it, by Southern? Under pressure from two Forest players. The ball has stayed out. What a break that is. Majewski and Cohen down this left-hand side. They work it beautifully. That's a brilliant ball in. And Blackstock, he must feel that he's going to score. It loops off his head onto the bar. And it's the bounce, isn't it, that Tyson cannot get his foot up high enough. Look at how high that ball bounced down off the crossbar. We spoke about a little bit of luck required to win playoffs. Well, it wasn't going Forest's way there.
Well, it's a tumultuous confrontation here so far.
Both said, they both indicated that they were going to go for this game, didn't they, before the start? And they certainly have kept their word.
Gunter with the header away for Forest. Blackpool do always look as if they've got goals in them. They've scored in 43 of 50 matches.
That's impressive, isn't it?
Coleman dispossessed by Anderson. That's quite a battle between those two. Anderson's looked a real live wire, the former Liverpool man. And he's found Blackstock there. Might bounce to get the flags up here.
Blackstock just strayed, didn't he? Shouldn't be offside.
Well, Blackpool level. Keith Southern. Big roll by Seamus Coleman.
Well, it's a brilliant run, isn't it? But then the most impressive thing is the composure he shows at the end and the awareness. And then Evatt plays the ball. It gets a little deflection, but certainly doesn't care. Keith Southern wasn't going to miss from there.
He's trying to look calm.
Yeah.
Billy Davis.
He's probably still wondering how that ball stayed out of the goal literally a minute or so ago. Blackstock may feel he could have done better with the initial header.
1-1. I should tell you, just remind you, away goals don't count at all in the playoffs in terms of sorting it out if the aggregate scores are level. Just in case you were wondering, Tyson, Majewski, clever little ball player, the pole. Now then, Anderson again. He's looking at Ben one. You could see the idea. Not really close.
Not really. It was a good defensive position taken up by Seamus Coleman. When you look, there's no real way Anderson can get enough bend on that ball, and Jilts in the goal would have had that covered.
Well, the playoffs continue, and so too does the big title race. Chelsea are champions if they can beat Wigan. Super Sunday, 3:30, Sky Sports HD1 and Sky Sports 1, and available in 3D if you're in the right pub. Man United can take advantage of Chelsea slip up. They're at home to Stoke. Sky Sports 3 and HD3 from 4 o'clock. Final day, of course, of the Barclays Premier League. It's the playoff game with Leicester and Cardiff as well in this division tomorrow.
If half as good as this, it would be brilliant, wouldn't it? Absolutely first class for half an hour.
Vaughan with a little header forward. I wondered today whether the wind might detract from the game. In fact, it's causing the odd mistake in adding to it.
Yes, they are. Both sets of players dealing with it admirably, aren't they?
By the way, Keith Southern, who got that equaliser for Blackpool, was around in the Everton youth setup just a year or so ahead of Wayne Rooney. There's the man who's a Blackpool hero at the moment, Keith Southern. He's been around at this club a long time, made more appearances than any other player this season, and he's come up with a vital goal for them. He's a dad now as well this season, son Ryan at home.
They do it well, don't they, those three midfielders for Blackpool. They do get themselves in advanced positions, goal-scoring positions, and it's not lost, is it, that Charlie Adam is the club's leading scorer from midfield.
It's quite a flexible system they have, isn't it, Blackpool? Calvin Wilson for Nottingham Forest, up to Dexter Blackstone. Majewski. Here he is again. A composed presence. That's why Forest have paid £1 million to make his move permanent this week.
He's a good player, isn't he? £1 million well spent, you would have to say. We've got the big lads coming up from the back now, Forest.
Both sides look a threat. That's the truth of this so far. Away by Craney, and then back to Majewski, who tried an ambitious volley, which has scared the corner flag a lot. The ground is a sea of Tangerine apart from the red-shirted Forest supporters just below us on our gantry here. Ooh. Challenge from Adam.
Oh, that's crazy.
He's given it Blackpool's way.
Well, Paul McKenna has obviously said something. He can't even believe that the free kick has gone against him. There's two players that go in, both with the boots up high, and if anything, look, Charlie Adam catches McKenna. I mean, how on earth is the referee giving that a free kick to Blackpool?
Well, that could have been the yellow card, of course.
Well, that was my...
That would mean a 3-game ban for him.
That was my initial concern, really.
And Charlie Adam is probably a relieved man there. Blackstock forward. I don't think Majewski will be able to get that. Baptiste is the player who gets it back. Vaughan getting the ball in his own penalty area. Usually advisable, but it worked okay.
There's another really composed, calm player, isn't he? David Vaughan in the middle of that midfield.
Lovely football from Blackpool there until the final ball. Vaughan might be the only player Blackpool have ever bought from Spanish football, from Real Sociedad. Because he was part of Dario Gradi's Crew Academy, wasn't he?
Yeah, to get on the ball and pass it. You can see the Crew influence, you can see the Spanish influence. He's a good footballer.
It's Adam again for Blackpool. Blackpool will feel they need to establish some kind of advantage, you'd think, today. Just drop this in. Nottingham Forest haven't conceded a goal in their last 8 games at the City Ground.
Formidable home form, haven't they? Is it something like they've won 14 of the last 15 and drawn the other? Something like that. So based on that, Holloway will know. He will want to be taking his team there with some kind of an advantage.
For Blackpool, back to Evatt. Remember, he's been booked. Adam looking to flick it on. Blackpool relying on this high-energy attacking game that they play to get the job done here at Bloomfield Road today in the wind. Tracking back by Tyson, will get a free kick.
That's where Blackpool will want to see Nathan Tyson, tracking Stephen Craney back. And while he's doing that, he can't be running the Blackpool defenders the other way.
Two famous old clubs here. And interestingly, it's the first time in 75 meetings that they've met outside of the league. Never been drawn together in a cup competition. League Cup, FA Cup, forget it. Never. And here they are meeting in a playoff. An absolutely monumental fixture, of course, as it will be again for the second leg on Tuesday night at the City Ground. See Deloitte, the accountants, say that promotion to the Premier League is now worth £90 million.
Staggering, isn't it? Staggering figure.
So it's a good day to be on form, really, if you're a player in a game like this.
He'll be on form again on Tuesday as well. Delicately poised here.
Morgan won the header for Nottingham Forest, who very nearly retook the lead immediately after conceding the equaliser. Cohen, good challenge, won the ball fair and square. Back to Chris Gunter. Cohen again. Nice quality from Nottingham Forest. Majewski looking to thread one through. Baptiste gets it out of harm's way. But they have got some invention, haven't they, Forest?
Well, they have, you know, they can be quiet for a little period of time. Then all of a sudden they burst into life. They have got bundles of energy, bundles of pace. And they do spring very, very quickly from back to front.
Anderson invented something there, nearly set it up for Blackstock, who's in again for this, but Jukes, the goalkeeper, is there. He's taken over this season from Paul Rahubka in goal. Good hold-up play, wasn't it, by Blackstock? And now Majewski, movement ahead of him.
Tyson was looking for the early ball. He ran all the way across the line from that right-hand side. Trying to get in behind that Blackpool defence with his pace. Hasn't really been able to get in behind them as yet.
As they did last week, Blackpool having to pull back a goal deficit. Only 4 teams have won here in the regular season. That was West Bromwich Albion, Leicester City, and then Sheffield Wednesday and Barnsley as well. Here comes a cross in towards DJ Campbell. Gunter got it away. Coleman again. Southern.
It's a clever ball, you know. Brackmore wasn't expecting it.
Cohen. Anderson stays down injured after that, and he's been a real thorn in Blackpool's side so far as well.
It's Charlie Adam again with a challenge, you know. The referee. Just watch this as Anderson back heels that. Charlie Adam comes in. He's a little bit late. He just slips, doesn't he? I think it's just loses his footing, and that's what causes the collision.
Charlie Adam, who cost Blackpool a record £500,000. It's a massive amount, really, for this club to shell out. It's almost twice as much as they've ever paid for a player before.
Sound investment, wasn't it? What about Peter Beagrie at the top of the show talking about Paul McKenna as one of the signings of the season? Well, certainly Charlie Adam falls into that category as well.
Anderson, they're just giving him the once over here. They need him fit and firing, not only for the rest of today, but for Tuesday too. There's an FA Youth Cup winner in his days at Liverpool.
Moving well, is he?
No.
Usually, I think it's a blow. It's a bang. Normally, you can, within 2 or 3 minutes, you can normally run those off. Let's hope so for his sake.
And he certainly can run, can't he? Majewski again. Looking to be the catalyst, really, for Nottingham Forest. Wilson. Baptiste with an unusual header, but it worked. Ball did go out of play on its journey, even if it came back in again. 3 minutes or so from the break here. Forest ahead with a picture book goal from Chris Cohen. Blackpool level through Keith Southern. On by McKenna, and the goalkeeper, was he fouled? Yeah, it looked like it.
I don't think there's any dispute in that, is there? Certainly high bouncing ball. Baptiste leaves it for the goalkeeper. Leads with his arm, doesn't he, Blackstock?
Long and straight. Taylor Fletcher did well to win that. Tension almost palpable here. Just the way we like it, really, in the playoffs. Tremendous fun, unless you happen to be a fan of one of the teams, and then it's just torture.
Great for the neutral, isn't it?
Forest have never been promoted via the playoffs. They've lost 5-4 on aggregate a couple of times in semis, which is a bit heartbreaking. McKenna helps it forward. Out it goes, another Tyson Evatt. What a block that is from Evatt, who got straight up again. That looked as if it might have knocked him unconscious. There was so much power on the ball. Looking to find Taylor Fletcher. Good work from Calvin Wilson for Nottingham Forest. That's Cohen. Anderson, he's okay again. Can he get a shot in here? Baptiste off balance, gets it away. Not very far though. Anderson again. Cohen. Now Gunter for Forest. Offside.
Good period, wasn't it? Forest there. With opportunities to get shots away, but Paul dogged in the defending. You can see that Tyson has just strayed the wrong side. I think both managers will be relatively pleased, maybe for slightly different reasons actually. Ian Holloway because his team have once again shown a bit of spirit, a bit of character coming from behind. I think Billy Davies will be pleased with the fact that Forest started well, got the goal. The game's all square away from home.
Having said that, Forest will take 1-1, wouldn't they?
You would imagine so, wouldn't you?
They're a long way from achieving 1-1, mind you. Here's DJ Campbell. He can't play against Leicester City should they reach the final and Blackpool too. If Blackpool do get through, he might be hoping his parent club actually get beaten by Cardiff City. Not that he'd ever say that publicly. Wouldn't think so anyway.
Sure so. I won't say that publicly.
But who doesn't want to play at Wembley?
Oh, absolutely.
Wilson to get it forward. Tyson, back to McKenna, cute little ball to Cohen. Back to Anderson again. It's taken a deflection. It will be a Forest corner very, very late in the half.
They've got to stay strong here. Blackpool, the last thing they can afford to do. Concede before half-time. Change the complexion of the mood in the dressing room between them. They do very, very well, the goalkeeper and Coleman. As Morgan does well as well. Does that strike the post? It's a really good effort, isn't it, from the big centre-half? It's a really good, clean connection on that.
Another close thing, and another corner. We're not done yet in this first half. Deep towards Calvin Wilson! Out from underneath the bar. And Blackpool breathe a sigh of relief again, so do their fans here.
Stephen Craney, you know, the left back. Forest really threatened, didn't they? From both of those corners.
That's half-time. To say the first half was eventful would be an understatement. Chris Cohen with a simply wonderful goal to put Nottingham Forest in front. Keith Southern with the equaliser. 1-1 at half-time, and now read on.
2 goals and plenty of chances to start the playoffs with. 1-1 at half-time. Steve Coppell and Peter Beagrie, their views coming right up. 2 very different goals in the first half. A belter for Nottingham Forest. A bit more scrappy from Blackpool, but they always score at Bloomfield Road. Be about right, 1-1, or did Forest have the better chances for you?
Well, I think the Forest dressing room will be happier at half-time. I think both teams have looked good, to be fair. It's been a wonderfully open game. Both teams will look good going forward, but I think Billy will be very, very pleased in his dressing room, looking at the last 45 minutes, the way they have created chances, how fluent they've been going forward. And the 2 centre-backs look very solid, apart from the goal. Similarly, I think Blackpool have played some nice stuff, but consistently, I think Forest have just edged it.
Blackpool perhaps happy to be level at half-time, Peter?
Absolutely, yeah. Great response, and similar to the game last week, wasn't it, really, where they went behind, didn't panic, hadn't played particularly well and give the ball away cheaply, but then a couple of little passages of playing and got back in and going in level terms. Got to be happy, George.
Why does a left-foot strike look so good?
Oh, it was wonderful, isn't it? And the creation of the chance was just route one.
Particularly when you're 1-0 down in the first leg of the playoffs. Seamus, we said at the start, what a great signing he's been. It's important when you play a 4-3-3 that you've got a full-back who joins in. He's tempted the guy, put him on his backside, and then had the vision and awareness to pass it on to Evatt. And a great crafted goal. A little bit of luck in the in the final part of it, but tremendous from going behind. Great response from Blackpool.
But then the last 10 or so minutes of the first half, it really was a chance after chance for Forest, wasn't it, to get ahead?
Yeah, it was, and what impressed me was the amount of bodies that they got forward. We said about the Jet Eel Anderson, who's been a threat all game. Majewski joining in there from midfield. Beautiful cross, and Blackstock there. That's a defensive header. He's hit the bottom third of the ball. He's got to hit mid-third or top third to get it on target or down there. It's a great chance, and Tyson just can't turn it. So a little bit of athleticism there, but can't keep it down. But it was at this stage, all hands to the pump defensively for Blackpool.
Morgan there, great piece of skill. The ball comes to him, a big centre half. You don't expect this. Good chest, left foot, and I don't know whether it hit the post or whether the defender got a toe to it, but great skill and unexpected, because it looked at that stage as if Blackpool were just beginning to control more and more of the game. But great final surge by Forest.
Where's a heavyweight out on the pitch? A few lighter weights off it, 2 bantamweights there. Billy Davis and Ian Holloway now working their magic in the dressing room as they come out for the second half. It's 1-1. Here at Bloomfield Road, though, it's 1-1. Second half about to go any second now. Let's rejoin our commentators, Don Goodman and Ian Dark.
Terrific game here so far, and still very much all to play for, with not just one half here, but another 2, of course, at the City Ground on Tuesday night. Chances being created significantly by Nottingham Forest, in particular in that first half. And Forest in their change strip, all blue today, getting us underway.
Hope to reproduce that performance of the first half, won't they? Nottingham Forest, just with the added finishing touches, if you like. Certainly did create best opportunities. Blackpool made the most of the limited opportunities that they had.
Ian Holloway, resplendent in his tangerine tie again. The fashion accessories are important too, apparently. Is Ormerod with the header, 33 now. Brett Ormerod has really been around the game. And as we were saying, part of the start of the Blackpool revival. 4th tier side they were back in 2001. And every time they've been promoted since, it's been via the playoffs. Is history going to repeat itself?
There's certainly no better way of getting promoted, to say that. However, the feeling you get when you lose, you're no worse a feeling.
There's no bad way of being promoted, mind, is there? Here's Dexter Blackstock. Anderson again. Adam muscling him out of it. Adam, who might have picked up that horrible 15th booking, which would have triggered the ban, which would knock him out of the playoffs completely, the rest of them anyway. But so far, so good.
He got away with one, didn't he? A particular one, really.
How important might the substitutes be? I wonder as this goes on. There's Rob Earnshaw, isn't there, on that bench for Nottingham Forest. 15 goals this season.
Several attacking options, haven't they, Nottingham Forest? Goldrick and Garner, as well as Earnshaw.
Well, it's a measure of the depth of the squad, isn't it, that they can leave out the top scorer.
It is, I think. He'll be disappointed not to be on the pitch, but he may yet get his moment.
Southern with the flick on. Calvin Wilson is there. Now then, Ormerod in behind here. That's a really good block by Morgan to stop that going into the danger area. No overstating how important that was.
Would have been fairly quiet, haven't they, the front three of Blackpool. Brett Ormerod bursting into life there. It's a good block by Wes Morgan, and Blackpool will hope to see a little bit more of their front three in this second half.
Here's the cross. Ormerod wasn't tall enough to reach it.
It's another decent ball, isn't it? Fizzed in with pace. I'm just surprised Blackpool had nobody coming round the back there.
5 in 5 is his playoff goal scoring record. That's not bad.
Not bad at all, is it?
He was also on loan at Nottingham Forest when they were promoted under Colin Calderwood from League One at the end of that season. Here's Evatt. Adam was dispossessed. Do you think it in any way impinges on Adam's performance, the very fact that he knows he's this yellow card away from being knocked out of the season, basically?
Well, it may on some players, but I certainly don't think it has done on his. Having seen him last weekend against Bristol City and this weekend, I don't think he's thinking about that.
Good ball from him there for Ormerod. It's fallen nicely for Ormerod. Twisting, turning, cross just a bit too far for DJ Campbell. Agonising stuff.
And of course, they've turned round, and therefore the wind factor completely changes, doesn't it? Blackpool now kicking with the wind. Good play by Ormerod, isn't it? Just stands it up to the far post, and DJ Campbell just can't quite get high enough.
Wonder what he did say at half-time to his players, Ian Holloway.
Like I said, I think the front three have been particularly quiet. Like I also said, I think he'll be relatively pleased that his team went in level. He'll expect a little bit more, perhaps, going forward from his team in the second half.
The onus is rather on them to go to Nottingham with an advantage, Blackpool. Not that they'd be out of it, of course, if it stayed like this. Particularly having won 1-0 there earlier on in the season. Mind you, Forest created and missed a lot of chances that day, it should be said. Good little flick on towards Ormerod there by Taylor Fletcher. Just looking to try and build up a head of steam. Blackpool really get Forest on the back foot.
Forest have a little bit of a dilemma, haven't they? Because if it stays like this, and there's a long way to go, it's a pretty good result for Nottingham Forest. But got to get the balance right between going for another goal and keeping things nice and tight. At the moment, start of this second half, sat back a little bit for me, Nottingham Forest.
Dexter Blackstock's done very well. And you have players arriving, notably Nathan Tyson on the far side. Here's Majewski. Blackstock again. Just getting involved there, rather unnecessary. Now the referee's going to have to step in here with Coleman over there, and Adams there too. And well, this is silly, really. That all blew up out of nothing.
It's madness, absolute madness, absolute madness. He's lost his head, you know, Dexter Blackstock there. Got involved with Seamus Coleman when there was no need to do so. The fullback was trying to get the ball back, trying to take a quick throw in. From there on, Blackstock just lost his head a little bit.
Now, how's Phil Dowd going to deal with this? Usually with a good deal of common sense. He has a good empathy usually with the players and knows about the tensions, but there are going to be yellow cards here. Now, Adams got himself out the way. Coleman being spoken to here, and Blackstock too. Now, Charlie Adam really needs to get himself about 50 yards away, doesn't he?
He heard you, look. A very experienced referee, isn't he? He sent everybody away. He's having a calm word with both of them, and you hope that no more than a yellow card's coming here.
Yellow card for both.
I think Coleman may feel a little bit aggrieved. I don't know. Initial reaction is that it's a little nudge on Blackstock, but then Coleman is just trying to get the ball back, and Blackstock just reacts. And there's no need to react. If Charlie Adam gets involved again, and like you said, he needs to keep himself away from situations like that.
Walk away from trouble when you can, like the old song. He'll claim he was breaking it up.
And I think he was.
Yeah.
You know, that could be misconstrued.
Just a sign, though, of the tension bubbling under the surface here, really, that. Because that just... something and nothing, wasn't it?
Yeah. That's where you've just got to keep your head. Keep disciplined.
Easy up here, isn't it?
Oh, it is. Absolute doddle.
You never played here, did you? Blackpool?
No, I didn't have that pleasure, I'm afraid.
No. Amazing. Now then, Blackstock again, doing a good job as that lone striker, keeping the Blackpool defenders honest. Hit the bar as well, remember, Blackstock the first half. Adam. Calvin Wilson getting it away. Just to look pretty solid back there, bar the goal. Wilson and Morgan for Forest.
I really like them as a combination, you know. Big, strong lads, but they're very athletic as well. Pass the ball. It's a combination that has worked extremely well for Nottingham Forest this season.
Betting in this division, by the way, Forest and Cardiff 9-4.
It's James Perch. Luckily for James Perch, I think Wes Morgan is coming round on the cover, so look where Wes Morgan is. I think that's what saved him, maybe from a red card, but there's clear contact. DJ Campbell cuts across him, and there's a coming together, and he didn't argue, did he?
Oh, Anderson looking to wind a way through. He found that Evatt, who's already been booked, had just nudged him out the way there at a crucial moment. The temperature here is definitely rising.
Well, I was looking at Phil Dowd as he was going up to this situation, and I don't know whether he raised his arm, didn't he?
He did.
Knocked Anderson away, and I'm not sure Phil Dowd didn't realise. I mean, you can't do that. You can't do that. Phil Dowd was almost going for his pocket as he was coming up to that situation, and then I think he realised it was Evatt who'd already been booked.
Now then, chance for Forest to equalise straight away. Cohen's left foot would be favourite, you'd think, from this sort of angle, though Majewski's there as well. It is Cohen, and it is over.
It's tame, isn't it? It's very, very, very tame. You think of the strike that he scored from, trying to dink that in, and we'll have a man back on the line in Baptiste. The goalkeeper's got plenty of time to get over. It's not his best effort.
Now, Tangerine dreams indeed for Blackpool.
They've been fairly quiet second half, hasn't it, by comparison to the first, up to that point. Not really much going on at either end of the pitch. It's exploded to life now.
Well, Blackpool have come from behind. Can Nottingham Forest do the same? Really good turnaround. It's a sign of Blackpool's spirit this season and their belief, especially here at Bloomfield Road. They think things can happen for them.
Well, the thing is, you know, if you're Blackpool, can you go and get another one? Because if you can get a 2-goal lead to take back to the City ground, you really have got a fantastic opportunity of progressing through to the final. But like I said about Forest, it's about Blackpool getting the balance right now between going for it a little bit, trying to get that third goal, and keeping Forest restricted to just the one.
DJ Campbell doing very well again there. Adam looking, assessing the options, trying to get the right ball. Not quite for Gary Taylor-Fletcher.
Well, he didn't get the bend on it, didn't get the curl on it, did he? Looking to bend that in behind. Phil Dowd had a big decision this time. DJ Campbell, look where he comes from. He comes from his own half, goes all the way, and he just gets across James Burt, who seems to lunge in when the ball wasn't quite there. So, not really sure, but it's Wes Morgan's positioning, I think, that has saved James Burt from seeing a straight red card there.
Yeah, there did look to be cover. Now then, Campbell again here, who's come to life in this second half. Forest and their supporters rattled by that. Craney, Blackpool are playing better now. Evatt, he's already claimed an assist with one goal. Ian Evatt, that's not a bad ball in. Ormerod plays it in, comes out again. Southern can line it up, blocked on the way through by Anderson.
Well, they're rocking, aren't they, Nottingham Forest? They are rocking back there. Want to just the grip of themselves again here. Just calm things down. I mean, Blackpool are really throwing caution to the wind. I mean, that was the centre-half there up on the left wing. Ian Evatt, that's the centre-half. Your central defender playing a ball in open play. Ormerod does well. It's a quick turn. That could have gone anywhere. And then when it comes to Southern, can't quite see who gets out, is it?
Anderson's blocked it.
Does really well.
Well, the brains trust are having a think there. Chris Fairclough in the background and David Kelly and Billy Davis worried looks, but they need to change things. We'll see soon.
A real conference, weren't they, on the sideline there. We've seen Blackpool take the lead, but more than that, a real head of steam up here. And then in Tangerine.
I suppose there's the question of whether McKenna can go 90 minutes as well after so long out.
He looks comfortable at the moment, doesn't he? And really, his duties have been defensive, haven't they, in front of that back four, trying to mop things up. I don't think it's been overly energy sapping on him, so you would think he'd be all right for now.
Blackpool at the moment, they're asking the big questions. 2-1's manageable, 3-1 would get serious. Wind assisted as well, of course. Now Blackpool, it is a bit of a gale howling down from the direction of the Blackpool Tower.
It's been a super start to the second half, hasn't it, for Blackpool? Been dominating possession, and they've got their reward for that in the shape of the goal.
Taking control of this. Now then, Nottingham Forest. Can they move up a gear again? Shot there by Anderson, who's claiming handball on the way through. He was the only one who claimed it, to be honest. Southern, he won't get that. No. Well, was there a hand, I wonder? Paul Anderson thought there was.
Well, Anderson goes in, doesn't he, and he strikes it. It's a long way away from the defender, and has he got his hands in front of his body, Baptiste? Just brings him in front, doesn't he? The referee officially felt that it struck him on the chest.
As I say, nobody else appealed, and one or two of the other Forest players were closer. It's Adam again. Challenge from McKenna. There's a booking again here. Oh, he pulled out a red for a minute and then put it away.
Wrong pocket. He went to the wrong pocket.
He went to the wrong. Goodness me.
But again, McKenna feels that he's got the ball here. He slides in from the side, and he may well get a little bit of the ball, but I think he gets Charlie Adam first, doesn't he? Just a fraction. It's a close call. You can see why the referee gave that.
The yellow card count is rising. Grayson plays out in, Adam rather. Don't know where I got Grayson from. He's managing Leeds United. Big game for them today.
Mistaken identity there. I think Simon Grayson had a left foot like that, did he?
That is a big game they've got today as well, isn't it? Bristol Rovers, what a race that is too in League One.
It's a huge game, isn't it?
Yeah.
Talk about pressure. 2 teams under pressure out there, but quite a few teams at the top of League One under pressure as well.
Tyson. Vaughan gets it away. Blackpool have a player down. On the far side is Keith Southern, who's taken a blow in the face, we think. Game goes on though. Cohen, good ball back. Blackstock wouldn't come for Anderson. Craney, who got it away.
Dexter Blackstock completely misses the header there, doesn't he? It would have been controversial because Keith Southern was down on the ground, holding his face. It's a head injury. But as this ball is pulled back to Blackstock, look, it goes to head it and just glances it, doesn't get any meat on it.
There's some blood there, I think, which is why he may have to go off for some running repairs, possibly. The goal scorer, or the first goal scorer for Blackpool, at any rate. The playoffs continue in this division. Tomorrow, of course, when Leicester City have their first leg at home to Cardiff City. Sky Sports HG1 in crystal clear pitches, and Sky Sports 1 as well from 1 o'clock. The finals 2 weeks today at Wembley. Hope they've got the pitch sorted out.
Well, let's hope so.
Blackpool with 2 wins in the regular season over Nottingham Forest, and now leading them again here, and Charlie Adam has scored in all 3 of those matches.
Turned it around completely, haven't they? Because we saw really in the first half, just felt that Nottingham Forest had the edge in regards to quality. Blackpool are the ones really forcing the issue now.
Baptiste launches it long. Well, there's a reminder of the Blackpool glory days. Jimmy Armford, he's got a stand named after him here now, Jimmy. And absolutely loving this. His side 2-1 up. Should read his book. He used to cycle to some of the games in his day here.
I just wonder whether he can really quite believe it. This Blackpool team, such low resources, second lowest average crowd in the Championship. So close to making that dream of Premier League football a reality.
It would be an amazing story, but it's a long way from happening yet. Cohen to play this one in. Come on here to Tyson. He's got a good cross away there. Blackstock just couldn't get the power and direction. It was a difficult one for him.
It was. He gets up really well. I mean, this is what Dexter Blackstock really thrives on. Good crosses into the box. He's moving backwards. You can see what he's trying to do. He's trying to readjust his feet. He's trying to guide that down into the corner. It's a good effort. You can see a little bit of frustration on that Forest bench.
Blackstock will be 24 2 days before the playoff final. So you can guess the kind of birthday present he has in mind. Look at the room here for Adam. Oh, look at that. DJ Campbell, wasteful really. Wonderful chance, and it goes begging.
Well, he shows a lot of confidence to take this on first time, but I'm not really sure it's the right decision. He's in acres of space, isn't he? It's a great ball by Adam. Maybe a touch and then a strike would have been the order of the day, but he tries to bend it into that far corner, gets horribly underneath it. And in the end, it's a really glorious opportunity that's gone a begging there.
Robert Earnshaw may be introduced shortly by Nottingham Forest, we're hearing. Vaughan got it away. That looked like a foul by Perch, but no. Play on because Blackpool have possession anyway. he is, Robert Earnshaw, who holds the record of scoring a hat-trick in all 4 divisions and in international football as well. It's one of those regular quiz questions.
Well, he is a goal scorer, isn't he? There's no question about that. 15 in 32 appearances for Nottingham Forest this season. Terrific ratio. And we wondered, didn't we? I guess if things were going a little better for Forest, he might not have got his chance. Rob Earnshaw, but it looks like he's going to get one now.
Vaughan picked a nice-looking ball towards Ormerod, but Kelvin Wilson stuck out a leg. Evatt won the header. Forest trying to find a response. They have the lead, now they're behind. Oh, Majewski taken out by Vaughan there, and yeah, another card.
I don't think he can have any complaints about that, can he? And well done to Majewski for getting up quickly and not rolling around on the floor. He's very late, isn't he, David Vaughan? And he knows literally instantly, as soon as he lunges in, he holds his hands up. I think he knows what's coming without looking. Caused problems, haven't they, from set pieces in Forest.
20 minutes to go. Majewski to play it in. Tyson attacked it. So too did Blackstock. It's been a frustrating day for him. He only needs one more goal for his best ever scoring season, Dexter Blackstock. On 14 at the moment. Figure he has managed before.
Keeps getting in there, doesn't he? He'll keep getting in there. The Forest just need to keep that supply line going for Dexter Blackstock.
Adam hoping that might bounce behind the Forest defence for Campbell to run onto, but Gunter got it away.
The telltale sign as to how the second half has gone is that the Forest just haven't been able to get Paul Anderson on the ball at all, have they? And he was in the thick of everything in the first half. That's something they can look to try and redress, but he's on the periphery at the minute. He's such a good player, he can make things happen.
Blackpool showing really why they have been a force this season. This is a club who have been fighting relegation the last couple of seasons.
3 seasons ago they were in League One, weren't they? So
yeah,
fantastic turnaround.
And Nottingham Forest, remember, were 19th last season. They're up 16 places this year. It's good stuff. 2 good sides battling it out. Not a lot in it. And a lot of the argument still to come, both today and Tuesday. Now Taylor Fletcher with a good determined run. He's got the free kick. That looked a good challenge from Wilson, and he's given this Phil down. And he looked like he won the ball cleanly there for all the world.
Well, he does. You can't believe it, look. Could be a massive, massive moment in this playoff semi-final. It's a great run from Taylor Fletcher, but watch Kelvin Wilson. There's the ball. It's an absolutely fantastic tackle. But Phil Dowd is behind that. He's running in a straight line behind man and ball. I just wonder whether he can see that. He obviously can't see what we can see. It's the only reason I can think that he would give a free kick for that.
But what's a chance here for Blackpool? Charlie Adams lining up another one here. It will surely be him who hits it. Difficult one, really. Adam into the wall. Now, Coleman to play it back in again, bouncing around dangerously. Ormerod, but the whistle had already gone for an infringement.
Charlie Adam will be really disappointed with that effort. He tried to strike it too hard as this comes in. Not really see what that is for.
So he goes in the book as well, Chris Gunter. Yeah, it was hard to see what if that was for something said.
There's a little nudge by Taylor Fletcher there, but Chris Gunter has obviously said something to Phil Dowd, and now the bench of Nottingham Forest are obviously in the ear of the 4th official. And they've got to stay calm. You can see the frustration because it was a fantastic tackle, wasn't it, by Kelvin Wilson?
Yeah. Totally understandable, I think, that Billy Davies here is having his say with Phil Dowd.
Smile.
It's one of those volcanic occasions, isn't it? This, to use a topical word, I guess.
Could say that, yeah. Two characters you've got managing both of these teams as well. Could be as volatile as the best of them, can't they? Billy Davies and Ian Holloway.
Great noise here from the Blackpool supporters, who are really starting to believe Blackpool haven't been a top flight club since the early 1970s. They lead 2-1 here. This time it's a Forest free kick.
Tried to barge his way through again, doesn't he? Taylor Fletcher did it previously. As he falls down, he falls onto Kelvin Wilson's arm, doesn't he? There's contact there. It's purely accidental. There may be a bit of blood. Yep.
Still down. And going through torture on the bench, both managers, of course. Now then, Robert Earnshaw is about to come on. Nottingham Forest's top scorer this season with 15 goals. Long gap here, isn't there?
Just all led to the tension at the end of the 90 minutes, won't it?
It's going to mean time added on will be even more. It's on a knife edge, this, isn't it? Looks like eye damage, left eye for Gary Taylor Fletcher. There is complaining to Phil Dowd.
They can't believe that that's intentional, surely. Fell over and landed on Wilson's arm, didn't he? Here's the move. Davies clearly going for it. Clearly believes his team can get another goal.
But it's Dexter Blackstop who's coming off here. So a striker for a striker. On comes Robert Earnshaw, who won and lost in the playoffs in his time with Cardiff City. He's only scored twice away from home this season.
It'd be a good time to make it third, wouldn't it?
Southern helped it forward. Forest want this equaliser to take back to the City ground on Tuesday. Earnshaw, immaculate control. That was so silky. And then not quite so silky as he fell over himself. Here's Adam again having a much, much more influential second half. Blackpool are going to make a change shortly. Ben Burgess is going to replace Gary Taylor Fletcher, who can't continue. Eight goals for him this season, Ben Burgess. There's another player who was in the squad, although didn't come on at Wembley when they were promoted 3 seasons ago from League One. Look at this ball for Anderson, just a bit too long, but a cute ball it was.
Brilliant. Chasing back there.
Vaughan here for Blackpool. Gunter to help it forward. Possession squandered for Nottingham Forest, who rather need it. Blackpool, who finished 6th in this division, no team finishing that low has been promoted via the playoffs since West Ham 5 years ago. Vaughan with a tremendous run down the right-hand side here. Corner.
Good tackle in the end by Chris Cohen. I think he's actually hurt himself, hasn't he, in getting back and making that challenge. Just for a second, it looks like Vaughan's in behind, but look at the determination on Chris Cohen's face. Just gets back in the nick of time and falls awkwardly.
Wonderful goal today, but an injury here for Cohen in this game of 8 bookings so far. 2 more Blackpool changes coming up as well. It's like Barry Bannon and Stephen Dobby are coming on for them. Bannon, by the way, is on loan from Aston Villa, only 20 years of age, and Dobby is loaned from Swansea, of all teams, a club who missed out because of Blackpool's late surge. Those changes can wait because there's a corner here for Blackpool. Looking for the 2-goal cushion. Evatt attacking that on the near post. It wasn't a bad effort, you know.
The thing is, he's a long way past that near post, like almost on the corner of the 6-yard area. It'll take some special header to get it on target and in from there.
So Brett Ormrod is going to make way here, one of the players. Fresh legs being introduced, and so too DJ Campbell. Campbell, whose run led to the penalty kick. So Stephen Dobby is on, and so too is Barry Bannon, the midfield player who's arrived on loan from Aston Villa.
And you know, these are the ones that end up bobbling into the back of the net, aren't they? Good play. It's great defending by Birch, but as it falls for Burgess, he hits it into the ground. Look how close that is. A decent effort, you know. It's an awkward ball. It's bouncing and bobbling, and oh, so close.
Burgess helping it wide. Away by Baptiste, who's been very good back there. Now then, Robert Earnshaw. Possession given away. Misdirected pass from Dobby. Kent's here now. Well, it has been all day, really.
Well, it has, but I do feel if there is going to be another goal, it would be a big moment in the whole tie. I think in the last 7 minutes plus stoppage.
At either end, of course.
At either end.
Yeah. I think it would establish a crucial advantage, wouldn't it, one way or the other? As it is, it's kind of on a knife edge. 2-1 Blackpool. Good comeback from them. Goalkeeper should get this. He does. Bannon lays it inside. Vaughan, again getting a little more stretched, as you'd imagine now late on. To find Dobby, but Perch is there, and Anderson, he's offside in the end. McGoldrick.
He took his time, didn't he, the assistant referee on this side took his time to decide. Must have been a close one. That ball's laid forward. He's just gone a fraction too soon, hasn't he, McGoldrick? It's a good decision.
He did score here last season in a 1-1 draw for Southampton, David McGoldrick, but he's only got 3 goals in this season, usually on the bench. Away by Morgan. Here is McGoldrick, whose control was exemplary. Earnshaw. McGoldrick again. Lovely looking ball, that one. A Forest in business with Tyson here. Evatt was always favourite for a ball like that.
shirt, and all the Forest supporters below us saw that.
Forest may take the view, even though it's turned out a bit disappointingly for them, having led in this game, that they can well retrieve this on Tuesday night with their fantastic home record. But they might do rather better than that, because here's McGoldrick. Oh, and he's overhit that.
Earnshaw,
way too far from Cohen.
Earnshaw's in acres of space on the edge of the penalty area. Arms in the air. Look, he's looking and saying to McGoldrick. Just watch up Robert Earnshaw as he lays that ball off. Played into McGoldrick, but he's making his way in. Look, and he just takes the time and gets his head up. Earnshaw was in a lot of space.
There's such great vision, doesn't he, Adam, there? He saw a pass, I think, that few others would have seen on the pitch. They nearly picked up Dobby's run. No understating how important he's been for Blackpool this season. Hutch's long ball away by Evatt. Ian Holloway says he's only spent £800,000 on his squad, and $500,000 of that was on Adam.
Absolutely fine job, isn't he? I think when you're a club like Blackpool as well, every penny is an important penny spent, isn't it? Certainly bought well in Holloway.
Getting late here. Is there to be one more moment of drama, one more decisive goal? Potentially decisive, anyway. Misunderstanding there between Craney and Dobby. It's fallen here for Dobby. Adam lost his footing. Amazing how often he stormed forward from the back today, Ian Evatt. To some effect, it should be said too.
Just shows the ambition both he and Blackpool have got. They're 3 minutes away from Blackpool gaining a really important advantage in this playoff. The centre half storming forward.
Now the fans here wondering, are the Premier League going to lose one famous Lancashire club in Burnley and gain another in Blackpool? Vaughan. Taken down by Earnshaw.
Once again.
It's another yellow.
Yeah. Once again, it's the right decision, isn't it, by David Vaughan? When you get ahead of a player, you've got to cut across them. Because if you do, there's always a chance that this might happen. I think it's just a tangle of legs. I mean, Earnshaw's trying to get back, and Vaughan cuts across him and tangle of legs. Another opportunity.
I can't swear to this, but I think it's 9 yellows. It's like the line in the film, in all the confusion I've kind of forgot. It's a lot.
I don't think it was ever going to be anything different.
No. Crucially for Blackpool, one of the yellows isn't Charlie Adam. It looked like he's going to hit this with a new ball here that's been brought out. Adam, this is quite a good range, isn't it, Don, for him?
It is, because you're far enough out to get a lot of power on it. You're also far enough out to get it over the wall and down under the crossbar. Easier said than done, but if anybody's capable, he is.
90th minute, Adam over the bar, much to the relief of Nottingham Forest.
A couple of opportunities, hasn't he, from free kicks, Charlie Adam. Disappointing again.
Off comes Nathan Tyson to be replaced by Lewis McGugan. Midfield player from Long Eaton, a Nottinghamshire boy, who scored on the day Forest secured their promotion from League One at Yeovil. Cohen 2-1 Blackpool. A reminder again, the away goals don't count double in the playoffs. That rule does not kick in at all. McKenna around the corner. Good turn by McGugan. Cut off by Baptiste, who's been solid back there. A lot of his family, he's from Nottinghamshire, are Nottingham Forest fans, Baptiste.
That's what they've done too often in the second half for me. You know, Nottingham Forest haven't passed the ball at all well, giving the ball away. When they're on form, when they're on song, Nottingham Forest, they are the kind of team that can pass the ball, can keep possession. They haven't done that in the second half.
It's not been easy for the players in this wind, and not the easiest pitch either.
No, there is that to be taken into account, but even some of the simple passes have gone astray. Passes that you wouldn't expect to.
Craney here. Blackpool in search of a third goal. Into stoppage time, there's plenty of it, as you can see. 5 minutes due to be played. Good ball round the corner, was it? No, not. In the end by Dobby. Dobby again. Now here's Adam. Vaughan. To be honest with you, Charlie Adam looks too good, doesn't he, for the championship?
Well, I was surprised he wasn't snapped up in January, to be honest with you. He was already in the goals then, but he's not just a goal scorer we've seen today. Passed the ball, really cultured left foot, covers a lot of ground as well.
Well played by Evatt. Blackpool have put in a fine effort in this second half to nose in front.
I wonder if you'd have offered this scoreline to both managers before kick-off. Maybe they'd both have took it.
Interesting to hear how they read things after the game, if it stays like this. If. Vaughan again. Now then, here's a chance for Forest to come forward with Anderson once more. You feel sure he's going to be a big player in the second leg, don't you? Craney. Burgess. Away by McKenna, who is lasting the distance despite his 11-game absence. Difficult one for Morgan, that. Handled it well. Maybe one last chance for Forest to level it up. Perch. It's disappointing, really.
Awful lot of long balls in the second half of Nottingham Forest. Maybe they felt the pressure of Ian Holloway's team, but I think he will certainly be demanding a lot more quality from his boys on Tuesday night.
What a racket, what a noise from the Blackpool fans here. It's a wall of noise now. 2-1, but these fans believe this side has something about them this season, and that maybe there's a sense of destiny.
You wonder as well, don't you, when you beat a team. I know Blackpool have got a pretty good record against Nottingham Forest, haven't they? Lovely strike, isn't it? Again, cuts across the ball, gets it fading into the goal. And Matthew Gilks, who hasn't had much to do in the second half, is really alert. That's a big save, good save.
Now then, Forest with a very late corner here. We're past the 5 minutes that was supposed to be added on. It's away by Evatt, and that is it. Blackpool take a 2-1 lead to the City Ground on Tuesday. Great goal from Chris Cohen. Back came Blackpool, Keith Southern, then Charlie Adam with a penalty kick, and Blackpool are 2-1 up with 90 minutes left of this semi.
Quite a hung playoff, but very, very tight. Billy Davis, a goal down when they go back to the City Ground. Blackpool have the edge by 2 goals to 1. All 3 goals, left-footed goals. The next semi-final for you comes up tomorrow with Leicester City, of course, playing against Cardiff City. We'll get the views of Steve Coppell and Peter Beagrie in a few seconds' time on this match here at Bloomfield Road. Blackpool just edging in front after being a goal down. Blackpool 2, Nottingham Forest 1. How do you like your goals? All left-footed here. Chris Cohen really special for the first one. Keith Southern equalised for Blackpool. And Charlie Adam penalty made it 2-1 to Blackpool. Ian Holloway with his nose in front after the first leg. He's with Greg Whelan.
Ian, so a narrow advantage. Give us your assessment of this result today.
Obviously, I'm very pleased. You know, we went behind to a fantastic goal. Great strike. You can't do much about that. And it was a question of my lads' character, you know, and I thought they showed it. Played some decent stuff on a bobbly pitch, and it was always going to go to next week. We've got a massive job to do next week, and on their wonderful pitch with their fantastic supporters, and you know, anything can happen. But you know, I'm a very, very proud man at the moment. My team they've proved again they can cope with all sorts of pressure. Can we get what we want? Who knows? But it's a fantastic journey.
How important could that last-minute save by Gilks turn out to be?
Yeah, you know, there's huge things in these in when the stakes are this high. Tiny little things happen, and you know, that was a fantastic strike from Cohen again. Starting to get on my nerves, that boy. But you know, they got some great players. We've got some good players, and let's see what happens next week. You never know, do you? 6-6. There was a game the other week, wasn't there? So you know, I've seen 4-0 turn round in the second half. So that's the first half over. Let's see what we can do next week.
Did you have any doubts in your own mind when Charlie Adam stepped up to take that penalty?
Yeah, he has missed one this year, but you know, he's a big game player. He's used to pressure, and you know, with his left foot, if you save it, then you know you've done well. But what can I ask for? That's first part of it done. Billy will know that, you know, with only 1 goal difference, he'll know that they get a goal and their fans will get behind them. So you know, and their record at home's fantastic in it. So, but we're literally looking forward to that. It'll be a great day, whatever happens, and you know, we got a chance to play on a brilliant surface. So we're looking forward to it.
Ian, well done today.
Thank you.
Blackpool coming back from a goal down. But, Steve Coppell, would Forest still fancy their chances at this stage?
Yeah, they have to. Just the 1 goal deficit, playing at home in front of what's bound to be a massive crowd, cheering them on. The home record is so impressive. An interesting sort of conundrum, I think, for Billy as to what shape he plays, because the natural thing when you play against Ian Holloway's team is to sort of match up 4-3-3. And whether he'll be able to get more men going forward to make sure they get the extra firepower up front, because in the second half today they didn't really show a great deal. I don't know how effective the wind was in helping Blackpool, but their performance was just so consistent, I think. Committed, yes, consistent, and as Ian said, just good football.
Forest firepower today was a bit hit and miss. The hit part was fantastic, wasn't it?
Oh, it was amazing, and we said about their poor away form, and yet the first goal, you know, which we thought would be all important, came, and what a cracker it was. You know, it was worth the wait really for Forest. Wonderful left foot strike, and the keeper didn't really have a lot to do. So this is all about, you know, keeping your mind active, keeping in the game, talking and everything like that, and positional sense, because that was arrowing into the bottom corner. It was a fantastic save, covered himself in glory after letting a goal in last week.
You mentioned Billy Davis there, thinking about his formation maybe for next week, but he's got that crowd behind him, and he's got that home form behind him as well, hasn't he?
He's got the crowd, he's got home form, and he's got options. You know, he's got so many options up front. He could play the replay in so many ways. I'm sure now he's thinking overtime. That journey home will be a real test for him, where he'll come up with something which will give Blackpool problems.
Well, he doesn't sleep, does he? I mean, he watches videos all night, apparently.
Yeah, absolutely, and he'll be watching the video of this, and not so much a video nasty, but he'll learn from it, and there'll be, like Steve said there, there'll be changes that he'll implement definitely in the second leg.
Let's hear from Billy Davis now. He's with Greg.
Billy, at what is effectively half-time, what's your take on this tie at the moment?
Well, I thought first 45 minutes, Greg, it's all about chances. There's no doubt. You know, we had a vast amount of chances to hit the bar, 2 cleared off the line, and we probably could have scored 1 or 2 more goals in the first 45 minutes. Second half was a bit more stop-start. Second half, again, we didn't quite get our passing game and didn't quite move the ball around. It is a very difficult surface, we know that. But in the end, we've given away 2 soft goals. We now take the game into back to the City ground, and it's all to play for.
How much consolation can you take from the record that you have at the City ground this season?
Well, we knew what we had to do when we go back to the second leg. It's as simple as that. And I've been involved in the playoffs now for a number of years, and I can tell you we've had draws in the first game, we've had wins in the first game, we've had defeats in the first game, and everything is still to play for. They will know that, we also know that, and we now look forward to the second game.
The penalty decision was crucial here today. It gives them their 1-goal advantage, narrow advantage. What was your view of it?
Difficult to see it, to be honest with you. Very difficult to comment. You know, I was such a far way away that very difficult to see it.
Thanks for your time, Billy.
Thank you.
That's 7 games in a row, Peter, Blackpool have won in playoff games. The 8th one, though, is going to be absolutely crucial for them, isn't it? Can they do it?
Yes, of course they can do it, yeah. We've seen the belief, you know, after going a goal behind today, the belief is immense. And I've seen them operate on a big, open, wide pitch, you know. They had a tremendous performance against Middlesbrough, beat them 3-0. And they'll relish going to Forest, even with their home form. The pressure is so much on Forest, even more so now than it was before today's game.
Does Ian Holloway think of making changes to his, what you said was a kind of solid 4-3-3, Steve?
Yeah, no, he'll play exactly the same way, same personnel, with the exception maybe of injuries. But you know, they have a belief in the way they play. They don't matter who they play against, and you know, very importantly, they've beaten Forest now 3 times this season. So you know, they've got the belief. They know they can do it, and as Pete says, the ground there, the surface is so good. They will relish playing there.
Yeah, that's a good point, isn't it? Three wins over Nottingham Forest for Ian Holloway this season. No one's done that to Forest this season, have they?
No, they haven't. And we said about how important it is, you know, mentally in these, not just physically in that. It's like, it's demanding out there from a physical point of view. But if you were attuned mentally, you know, it's such a benefit. They had big, strong characters there. They had the 2 centre-halves stepping out with the ball in a pressurised situation, but other people tucking in, the likes of Southern, roles and responsibilities within a team. They're such a solid unit.
Would Charlie Adam even say himself he can play better than that? I know he scored the penalty, but
yeah,
can
absolutely.
he play better than that?
I do believe that it is preying on his mind, the book, and you could see it because he's not steaming at attackers like he usually is. But
he was a peacemaker today, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was, yeah, but he still does the simple things very, very good, and that's a sign of a quality player, Steve, isn't it?
Yeah, 2 key players, obviously McKenna and Charlie Adam. You know, I think they've got massive roles to play in the second game, and the best player is going to come out on top. You know, as Ian Holloway says, he's got bags of confidence in his playmaker. Maybe with the 90 minutes under his belt, McKenna can have a little bit more of a positive impact on the game rather than just sitting in that hole.
Talking about being positive, just very quickly, Steve, would it be dangerous for Blackpool to go there, to think a draw will do it?
Oh, definitely. They play one way. They want to win every game, and I'm sure they will treat their opponents with respect, but they'll be on the front foot more often than not.
OK, we look forward to that. That's a great game today. Thank you very much to our guests, and from all of us here in Bloomfield Road, goodbye.
More sport, news, views and video highlights at skysports.com.